So we're gonna run it back. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it one more time because I don't think people was getting it. It ain't. It ain't. I don't like it. You are now in surveillance area. I don't like the responses right now. So we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again right now. That way you get it. You know, sometimes you gotta reiterate stuff. Say it a little differently. Mount up with wings. Okay. Mount up with wings like eagles. Verses in the Bible about mounting up with wings like eagles. Okay, so if you gotta wait 40 days, right? At the end of, matter of fact, 40 days was for Moses to fast. You gonna know when it's time for God to renew your strength because you're gonna faint, you're gonna be weary after a certain amount of days. Now hunger pains ain't nothing. But after a certain amount of days, you ain't gonna die, but you might faint. And once you get to fainting and weary and, you know, utterly falling, God gonna renew your strength. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question again. Where do we get our strength from? We get our strength right now from the combination of dead meat protein and plants. My goal is to try to get Christians or a people, as a people, to become a reflection of what heaven is in our surroundings. That way, if the spirit wanted to come in contact, it'd be comfortable. What we don't understand is if there's no dead in heaven, because God said ain't no dying when you get up here. So that means the rules are totally in effect up there. Matter of fact, we know ain't nobody doing nothing wrong because ain't nobody else got kicked out. And, you know, some of them, we ain't gonna even talk. Okay. Um, time. So at the end of the day, we gotta understand that in heaven, if it ain't no dying, ain't no killing, fear, that commandment is in effect up there. It ain't no, it's free will, but we know what happened to. We ain't gonna focus on him. We ain't gonna focus on him. We know what happened to dude downstairs, so we don't want no parts. Because if the angels don't want no parts, I'm a baby. I don't want no parts either. I don't got the. I ain't strong. Okay. We gonna keep going. If they don't want no parts with God, and God get a, so it's only a few of them up there for real. You know, third. You know, that's okay. I got dyslexia, so I know better with me sometimes. Okay, let's keep going. If ain't no dead up there, ain't no killing. Ain't no way that the spirit is comfortable in the temple. the body is the home or resting place of the gift of the Spirit after your rededication. It's a gift. So when you get the gift, some of y'all don't understand that you're rejecting your because if ain't no dead in heaven, I know the Spirit's not comfortable in the temple because all up and down the temple is dead meat everything. Okay, so the Spirit is part of the Holy Trinity. Am I mistaken? Okay, so if it's part of the Holy Trinity. We know God is life. Jesus got restored to full power. Now Jesus, Yahweh, the Son, is life. Okay. We're gonna go all the way to the end real quick. When God come back down here, right, with his angels and everything, and he bring heaven down here, everything that's there, you gotta get up. So if the Spirit is in you, ain't no taking away what God is. Ain't no taking away life. That's what he is. That's what it's part of his Trinity. That's life. All that dead, and you'll come out and it'll be around you, hypothetically. But it ain't time for you to be weighed. It's not time for you to be judged on how many or how much you didn't indulge in right now. But God gives you a way out. He allows you to fast. Y'all be like, okay, fasting gets you closer to God. So I got dyslexia, right? So I understand that if fasting gets you closer, something that I'm eating is pulling me away. If I gotta not eat to get closer to God, something in there is pulling me away every time I start eating again. If I gotta not eat to pull myself in, something in there is getting, repelled. Because it ain't time for that. So in order for the Spirit to be comfortable in the temple and come home and be a gift and you not reject the gift, can't no dead be in the body. Because if the Spirit come, we know the Spirit comes from heaven. Heaven ain't no dead up there. So in order to be a reflection or a living offering in a way, not dead but living and walking around having the scent of plants and seeds coming from the pores, should be a sweet smelling scent to God, which where you have favor. Okay, I understand that the angels at one point in time, and this is between me and you, take it with a grain of salt. The angels at one point in time were just like us. Okay, just a story for you to, try to put two and two together. Okay, we know what equal for. We know. Okay, so the angels was like just like us at first, and they ain't had no clothes on, and they was tilling the earth. The sun is hitting their back every day, but all they eating is plants and seeds. All they eat, plants and seeds. They ain't growing and they they gathering and they planting again, and they putting a piece in the ground, and they putting a piece in the body. Okay, they planting. Now we planting now. You got a piece in the ground, a piece in the body. You done separated it between the family. Now we got something growing that y'all done indulged in that's still living, so you ain't still. Okay? That's my, thing. My thing is, if you're stealing, if you take and indulge in something whole without replacing some of that piece, but we know that when you get potatoes, they usually use, some of the potatoes but a single potato come from a single, and sometimes you, for yourself, you just might have to chop a piece and throw it out there. You go ahead and leave it out there. You got to do, because the roots gonna go. We got potatoes in here. I got potatoes in here right now. If I throw outside, but I ain't eat them. But I should have. That way I wouldn't. But see, when you steal something, you destroy what part of that life. My thing is, dead meat has the absence of heat. And because dead meat has the absence of heat, the protein that we use as energy from the dead meat is attractive to cold because it has the absence of heat. Dead meat, when something dies, immediately it starts to lose the body temperature, right? So the life in it gives the heat without life. It has the absence of heat, so it can't internally heat itself, but it can seduce its surroundings into believing that it's the outer layer is heated when the core of it down to the smallest, but doesn't have any heat attached to it. So we're freezing right now. I understand why God came down, made them coats, because somebody had to indulge in something. And if you all life, that's heat. You ain't never indulged in dead is cold. And you mess around and need a coat. You might have been embarrassed because now you cold, and God says you wouldn't go through that if you wouldn't did what you weren't supposed to be doing. A tree of life or a tree of good and evil is, to me, something that's, and they say they can't necessarily tell what fruit it is, and they keep saying it's a fruit. To me, take it with a grain of salt, and I'm going to leave it at that. If your body is all life, never ever indulged in dead meat, good and evil, or life and death knowledge to the body would be something new. Okay, something new. But then if you break it down to the smallest minuscule, not trying to bring science into it or nothing, but life is heat. God's love would eventually how you ignite it. And that the angels fiery cherub. Some of these swords is fiery. So what I'm saying is, like I said, take it with a grain of salt and let me finish before you reiterate to me about what you understand. Knowledge will be something new. Something dead would be life. It would be good. And then because it's dead, it'd be bad or evil. It'd be evil because it's dead. Because it's not living. Because in heaven, if we know that's one of the rules up there, we don't necessarily always use it down here, but we know that's one of the rules up there. That ain't the rule that over and underline no killing is that there's no death. Can't die in heaven. So immediately you should understand that some of the free will might be taken, but you can't kill even if you tried nothing. Now you might get in trouble for trying because automatically something gonna happen because God knows all. So it's somebody right there that's gonna immediately move upon you moving, which eventually probably gets you kicked out if we know the rule. We know somebody then got kicked out for doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. So it ain't necessarily that the rules don't apply. The rules apply, but there's a cause and effect to everything you do. So I'm saying this to say, if you can't kill nothing in heaven because there's no deaths, immediately reiterates no killing. Immediately. So what that means is there is no feasting on nothing that died. Okay, so your gift of the spirit is up there, comfortable, around nothing that died. So when he gave it to you, is that not, you know, corrupting your gift or refusal? Because the spirit immediately probably just be around you and not want to enter because you're not clean. Now I keep saying Jesus died. Okay, he did. But he died for our sins. So why are we still putting the sin into it's other stuff? But there's a place to start. Like I said, I can go back. They was the angels was just like us, but that was just their backs was to the sun all the time because they was naked and they was just tilling the earth. Matter of fact, they feces might have made a plant because that's all it was plants. Wasn't no decomposition stuff. They made it turn into something from, and spread on the other stuff. We know that if the plant is living or the seed decides to be in the ground, or you put a seed in the ground and then, you place some dead meat or you place something that died next to it, the increments from the body starts to spread in the surrounding areas and infects and causes disease in the plants and its surroundings. So let's go back real quick. We know Adam and Eve had sons. One of them was a farmer. We know that stuff in certain places at one time it wasn't growing and he had to go. My thing is Adam teaching one of the sons and then Eve learned something from the snake. Taught the other son. But when somebody it dies, that's a sin. And in order to we gotta burn an animal. That's why an offering was favorite to me. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm gonna leave it right there. I got a couple videos I gotta upload.